All right, let's pull back the curtain. As an IELTS examiner, I've read literally thousands of essays. I've seen some absolutely brilliant ideas, but you know what? I've also seen so many smart students lose points they really deserve. So today, I'm going to show you what's really going on inside an examiner's head. We're going to look at how your writing is actually judged so you can start thinking like we do and, scoring like we do. You know, so often I'll start reading an essay and the vocabulary's great, the grammar seems complex, but I'm confused. I have to reread a sentence too, maybe 3 times to figure out what the person is actually trying to say. The ideas are there, I can tell, but they're buried under a messy, disorganized structure. And honestly, this is probably the single biggest and most fixable problem I see. And the fix? Well, it all comes down to these 2 words: coherence and cohesion. Now, I know they sound super academic, maybe a little intimidating, right? But trust me, once you really get what these mean to an examiner, it's like you found the keys to the kingdom. This is the secret to unlocking a higher band score. Okay, let's break this down. Think of your essay like you're building a house. You can have the best materials, the strongest bricks, the clearest windows, but if you don't have a solid blueprint, what do you have? Just a pile of stuff, right? Well, that blueprint, that's your coherence. And the mortar that holds all those bricks together, that's your cohesion. So coherence is the big picture. It's the master plan, the map of your entire essay. As an examiner, I'm asking, does your introduction actually set the scene? Does each and every paragraph have one central point? And does your conclusion actually, conclude things based on what you've argued? When I can follow your logic from start to finish without getting lost, that's when I know I'm reading a coherent essay.
Now, if coherence is the map, then cohesion is all the road signs that guide me on that journey. These are the little words and phrases, things like however, for instance, as a result, or even just using pronouns like it or this issue. They are the glue. They're what connect one sentence to the next and turn a list of ideas into a smooth flowing argument.
To make this crystal clear, let's look at the difference between a Band 5 essay and a Band 9. And this isn't just my opinion. This comes directly from the official grading criteria that every single examiner uses. The difference is, well, it's night and day. So look at this. Reading a Band 5 essay, it feels like I'm trying to navigate a maze. The official rubric says there's a lack of overall progression. The paragraphs are described as inadequate, the sentences just don't connect. It's hard work for me. But a Band 9? That's like being handed a perfect map. The message can be followed effortlessly. The paragraphs are skillfully managed. And my favorite part, the cohesion is so smooth it very rarely attracts attention. It's basically invisible, and that's exactly the goal. So how does an essay end up in that Band 5 zone? Where do things go wrong? Let's zoom in and do a little breakdown, using the exact phrases that I have to tick off my checklist as an examiner. Okay, this is a classic. It means I can see that you tried. There's an intro, there are some paragraphs, there's a conclusion, but the ideas are all jumbled up or the paragraphs are in a weird order. It's like you have all the right pieces for a puzzle, but you've put them together in the wrong way. The effort is there, but the logic just isn't. Oh, this one makes for such a choppy read. It feels like a list of disconnected facts instead of a real argument. Stop, new sentence. Stop, nothing flows. It forces me, the examiner, to do all the mental work of connecting your ideas for you. And when I have to work that hard, your score goes down. This is a huge one. It's a dead giveaway of a mid-level essay. It means you keep repeating the same nouns over and over. For example, climate change is a problem. Climate change affects the weather. We must solve climate change. It's so clunky. A better writer would say, climate change is a problem. It affects the weather, and we must solve this issue. See how much smoother that is? This points to 2 opposite problems that have the same result. Some writers use almost no linking words at all, so their ideas are just floating around. And then others go way too far, starting every sentence like a robot. Firstly, secondly, moreover, furthermore. It's so unnatural, and frankly, it's boring. The key is to use these tools, but with some style and variety. Okay, enough about what not to do. Let's talk about the solution. How do you get to that Band 9? Well, the good news is the official criteria don't just tell us what a Band 9 looks like. They give us the roadmap to get there. So let's write you a prescription for success. Here's your checklist for a top-tier essay. First, your paragraphs. 1 paragraph, 1 idea. That's the golden rule. Second, the flow. This means you plan your logic before you start writing, so the essay just unfolds naturally. Third, that subtle cohesion. Your linking words should be like ninjas. They get the job done without anyone ever seeing them. And finally, you gotta proofread.
Polish your work and seal up any little gaps in logic.
And that's really the ultimate goal here. In a fantastic Band 9 essay, I'm not thinking, wow, great use of therefore. No way. I'm just completely absorbed by your ideas. Your structure, your grammar, your linking words, they all just become a clean, clear window that lets your argument shine through. To bring this all home, I want to leave you with a simple test, something you can ask yourself every time you practice, a way to start seeing your own writing through an examiner's eyes. So, ask yourself, am I building a confusing maze, or am I drawing a clear map? Does your reader have to struggle to find your point, or does your argument lead them effortlessly from A to B? When you start focusing on guiding your reader, instead of just listing your ideas, you're not just improving your essay, you're mastering the art of communication. And that is what a high IELTS score is all about.